back at Texas Gun Experience. We did our last video, our recap about the Team Safari match here. Worked really well, so we figured why not do it again, right? So we're back doing recap. You guys just got back from the Guardian team match, and Blakely got 8th place. A lot of really good shooters, so we're going to do a quick recap talking about it and kind of go from there.
So the Guardian match was a little different than most of the other matches we shoot. Most of the matches you shoot, you brought the prize table, and it's a real ego trip. But the match, the Guardian Foundation is all about orphans and kids and things like that, and they do lots and lots of donations.
Let's talk about that real quick. So what is the Guardian Foundation?
So the Guardian Foundation, it's a foundation built on long range shooting, and what they do is they try to help children and find homes and help orphans and things like that. They supply lots of money to those half houses and stuff like that, the halfway houses and such, to basically assist children in need.
Okay.
And the founder's story is like extremely inspirational. He was adopted. He tells his story very much better than I ever would, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But Gary is a phenomenal guy. He runs a phenomenal show. So
cool. And then how many days was the competition, Kev?
2.
2-day competition?
Yep.
What was the kind of layout of day 1, day 2?
So we had the Gathering and we had the Guardian match at the same time. A typical Guardian match is 2 days, PRS match, and then a Pro-Am where they fold everybody together on the second day. This was a team match from the beginning, so it was a little bit different than the rest of your Guardian matches, and it was also in conjunction with the Army Sniper Association, Marine Corps Sniper Association, having a grudge match. So we had selected teams from the Marines, selected teams from the Army, competing against...
Active duty, correct?
Active duty and I believe retired was eligible as well, because I don't think all the guys were on active, but they're competing against each other for the bragging rights of who's the better sniper team that year for the Marines or the Army, because that's always a question everybody asks. This year the Army came out on top. They had Chris Roberts.
Happy birthday, Marines.
Chris Roberts from CR2 trained the Army side teams, and 4 of the top 6 teams were his guys, were Army. So an amazing showing by those guys. The AMU guys ended up winning by a pretty decent margin.
Surprise.
There's a reason they bring those guys out. They're tough to beat, but the Marines had a solid showing as well. But they have a trophy where the name is engraved, and they have placards that go all around it. So hopefully this is something that keeps going.
That's awesome.
Annually.
That's cool. How many years have they done this now?
This was the first grudge match.
How long has the Guardian Association been doing matches?
So Guardian Association's been doing matches. I believe they said it was like 2013. I think is when it began. But the matches, yeah. And Gary, like I said, does a phenomenal job. The interesting thing is, I believe he called it the G3 match, which is in conjunction with the Gathering, which is the largest gathering of retired and active and so on and so forth, all snipers. The Guardian match, the second G, and then the third one would be the Grudge. So it's the Guardian, the Grudge, and the Gathering all together. So this was actually really cool. I guess you can call it the inaugural match.
That's always
a lot of fun.
And it was neat to see civilians were open. It was open to everybody.
Yeah.
So you can go to one of these matches and see how you stack up against Marine Corps Scout snipers and Army snipers. And
how many teams were there total?
We counted. So originally,
80 something.
There were originally 62 on the roster, and then when they folded the Grudge, and then there were some last-minute sign-ins and all sorts of things. I know, like, the scoreboard eventually had like a team 90 or 91, which actually happened to be Tyler Payne's team, the AMU team.
I think teams that finished on the ranking sheet, there were 63. I'm not positive about that, but
it's a big match.
It was a big team match. It wasn't your standard PRS match, but it wasn't quite as complex as some of the big Army matches because of the facilities and all the restrictions.
Yeah, you guys did we did a good job of seeing some of the videos. There's like a lot of dynamic, a lot of moving around. There was a lot of. So let's talk to Sue. How many stages did you shoot on day 1?
7.
7 stages, day 2?
6 static stages and 1 moving target stage at a different location.
Movers, yeah.
Total of 7, and then day 2 there were 7 events as well. For the most part, I think every event had a 6-minute part time, and there was find, range, and engage with some nuance to it. So it was either complex because of the shooting position, like out of a minivan for one of them, or it was complex because you had to find the correct targets to shoot in the correct order. No dictated ranges and no simple lay down and shoot paper type of layouts.
Yeah.
Not PRS. That's a different sport, I guess.
Right,
Than
yeah.
this. And the typical Guardian matches are very close to a PRS match, but
The next one's in Parasol, right?
Yeah, that one is going to be a PRS style match with, I guess they do kind of a power ranking team
Yep.
match on day
Yep.
2.
So, favorite stage, both days, and lead. Give us the overall, or if you've got yours first, whoever.
I'll tell you this much: my favorite stage was probably the one that I posted on Instagram, which was Cav and I literally yelling at each other. So it was basically a disruption stage. I think it was in the second Connex box. I think it would have been either stage 6 or stage 1 of day 2 on the UKD range, and that one.
Which
was a lot of fun.
UKD mean unknown distance.
Yeah, yeah. They split us up into 2 different ranges, UKD versus the known distance range. And basically what happened is you start off, you had to engage 1 round per pistol targets. All pistol targets had to be shot by either shooter, and you had to alternate shooting. As soon as that happened, your guns were staged up into a second level of a Connex box on a UKD range that ranged out to about, I think it went out to 1,700 yards.
25, I think.
2,500 yards.
Yeah.
That's
So,
way yonder ways. They
So-
call that.
yeah, and basically what would happen is they had all these targets painted and marked with different symbols. Like one had the sniper symbol on it with kind of an arrow through it. There was like a triangle, a square, nothing terribly complex, but you had to find it.
And there was a ton of other stuff out there going on.
Yeah,
Lanes are cross-firing and targets we didn't use. So there's probably 200 pieces of steel out there,
A lot of lane noise.
and you have to identify your target from the card.
Okay.
And they have bullet impacts all over them, so it
correct.
complicates it.
And so, like, what you would do is you would get up there and you couldn't show your partner the card. You were on 2 separate tables. You would pick out the card, and it would tell you what target to shoot. I'd have to describe it to my partner, and then my partner could either range it or I could range it. We could locate it, and then he would have to fire 2 consecutive rounds at it. Impact, hit or miss. You'd need to move.
Distances here?
I think we had all the way out to like 825 on that particular stage.
Between
828.
we didn't draw all the cards,
Right.
Or I should say, we finished the stage, but there were more cards in there, so it was random for each team. But we shot from about 500 something to 800 something yards.
Okay.
And so when you drew the card and you identified it, you could both then locate it and range it, and then the non-drawer of the card would shoot their first 2 rounds. They would confirm impact or no impact, but it was hit or miss to move on, so it didn't really matter. And then, so after Josh shot twice, then what I would have to do if I drew the card is I would have to follow up with 2 consecutive rounds on target. The reason why I like that stage so much is because A, it stressed communication. It was,
Oh, yeah, and to complicate it,
oh yeah.
there's a generator. It's the second Connex in a stack of 3 on the shooting tower. There's a generator on the first floor that's loud,
Yep.
powering extremely loud speakers with insane Icelandic death metal playing or some crazy like.
Sounds like a party.
Screamo.
And I'm from it was lighting up the whole range.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a party, but when you're in that box in a confined
It's
space,
a lot.
it makes it very difficult for me to tell you, hey,
Yeah.
shoot the target with a triangle.
Yeah.
It's on the
Also
third,
disrupts
the
that.
third berm from the right, and it's at 625
Right.
yards. When we have that going on,
Yeah.
so it was a little bit of a stressor, but the marksmanship and the Takalon was really the main
Right.
focus of that.
How'd y'all do on that one?
We actually shot, I think we basically only dropped 1 target on
Yeah.
that stage.
So max points on that one was how many?
Almost max points.
Max would have been 23 because there was 3 pistol, and then no, it would have been 19. I think we only had 4.
We had 8. It was either 8. I forgot how many it was, but it was supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 plus 3, 19 targets. Correct.
Okay.
19 possible points. We got 18 on it. It was a good event. Something you don't see typically
Yeah,
at a
yeah.
shooting match. So
I like the Team Safari has a similar one. The team, I like the where you have to explain something to your partner, what you need to look at, have them find something obscure,
Yep.
and then engage it. I think that's an awesome. So
it stresses something that a team has to do
yeah,
together.
and that's what
But-
I love the team matches for that
Sure.
reason.
Put 2 good shooters next to each other, and if they can't work and talk
Yeah.
together and communicate, they're not going to hit those targets. So that was definitely a good test. And if you're not good at pistol, it might take you longer to hit the pistol targets. Before you go up there, you're eating into more of your time. You're going to run out of time before you hit everything. So
Another stressor.
we shot most of the pistol lanes fairly clean, if not 100% clean.
Well, we'll get to gear in a
So,
second on that one.
It was fast. We had plenty of time. We hit everything with one miss, and compared to other scores, when we looked at the
Yeah.
overalls, that was, near the top. I think one team did get all 19 of them, but
What was your favorite stage?
I liked the Kim's shoot, the keep in memory system. They show you targets.
Yep.
You have a specified amount of time to look at the targets, and then you go do usually some sort of physical stressor, run around the block, or lift something up, climb something, whatever.
Yep.
Also, of course, and then you have to go shoot those targets based off of the memory that you have, and they'll always put. They show us 5 pictures of like cartoonish faces, and when we go to the top of this shooting position, there's probably 25 of them out there that are all slightly different than what we looked at. So if I looked at a guy and I was like, oh, well, this guy's wearing sunglasses and he has a red hat.
Right.
That same picture, because they were cartoons, sunglasses with a blue hat instead of a red hat. So
Right.
you had to be spot on with the memorization, and we finished that with a perfect score. So
What was the distance on that one?
they were pretty close because they had to make it close enough that you could actually see the
Identify
details on the
targets, yeah,
photo.
understood.
So that one went from probably just over 100 yards to just over 2 something, maybe 230. But the targets were also small. So it was a picture and then a steel target.
2 MOA maybe?
A little gopher or duck or rabbit
Gotcha.
steel.
Oh, so real small targets.
You're right, like probably smaller than most ducks
Okay.
and gophers, but a photograph was near it. We had to identify it. I had to shoot twice at it. Then he would shoot twice at it, and then we'd move on to the next one. Again, it's because it stresses team.
Understood.
So when we go to
Yep.
these team matches, I like to have something that you can't just get a ringer and you and your pro shooter buddy go to these things.
Right.
You have to work together as a team with these to do well. So,
So when it comes to that, so was this mandatory primary, secondary gun, so gas
No.
and bolt, or open? Carry whatever you wanted to.
That was
So
interesting.
you're right. You were actually one of the few people who ran gas guns. Is that correct?
We saw a couple out there, but I was definitely probably less than 15% of the people probably ran gas guns from what we saw. Most everybody ran bolt guns, varying from 308 all the way to like 6mm. And the thing is they didn't designate primary or secondary. So if you had a secondary shooter that was capable of doing something, or a primary shooter that felt more comfortable or something like that, they didn't designate positions. So if
Yeah.
Cav is better at shooting all positions off rooftops, which he was, and I'm better at shooting from a different position, then what we would do is we could always flip flop. The only trick of it is that maybe he had longer targets and I had shorter targets, or I had shorter targets
right.
or longer
Understood.
targets. He had shorter targets. So, but the cool thing about it is there wasn't any caliber restrictions. There was just an overall caliber cap, and it was kind of interesting to see the dynamic of what people shot. Some people shot both 6.5s.
Yeah.
Some people shot
What did you run, Cap?
6.
6.5.
Where-
What? Just go run through your setup.
let's talk about it.
What did you choose, and why did you choose this one?
Before I don't know if I want to lift this thing up and go over all of it, but we chose to bring 6mm Creedmoor bolt gun from American Rifle Company, Archimedes Action, pretty much the full builds from them, and then a gas gun in 6mm arc. So we wanted something flat and efficient on both guns. Being that we've never shot this match, this is the first one, we don't know what we're going into, so we're not going to bring 2 of the same gun necessarily, because we don't know, we might really benefit from having a semi-automatic gun that we can shoot faster with. So we chose these 2, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Would you run these again next year? Same setups?
Oh, absolutely.
No changes?
I would run the same setup again at most of the matches that we shot this year. Both these guns ran exceptionally well.
So the
And
thing
what is it? And let's talk this one real quick. What is this one?
Yeah, so this is actually a Cobalt Kinetics 6mm arc. We both shot identical projectiles, 108 grain Hornady bullets. This thing is a little bit different than what you would find, but it's basically the Cobalt Kinetics guys outfitted it with a really beef bat 6 arc barrel. It's a 936 at the gas block, so I actually think my contour is thicker than the American Rifle Company contour on its 6
Oh, it definitely is,
Creedmoor.
yeah.
And this gun, all I can say is I mean, B5 system stock, our optic, of course, the AccuFire Atro 20. I ran an MDT double pull. I think that comes pretty much standard for a lot of people's rigs these days. And I'll tell you this. But with the versatility of this gun and the recoil maintenance that is required for it, it is literally one of the fastest options that you could possibly run. And I think I showed that during the match. Cav kept yelling.
A little too fast.
Yeah, he kept yelling at me to slow down, and I kept speeding up because I enjoy double tapping targets at 600 because I don't ever lose sight of it. So it was a good option, and I'll say this, the biggest thing I can tout is, for a gas gun, this is the closest I have run a gas gun and felt like it was a bolt gun. Like, there was the accuracy, everything about this gun is, I mean, I literally mean this, running everything I've ever run. This recoil profile, everything like that was identical to bolt guns that I shot.
It's real party.
It is.
It's real party.
It is.
I
A lot
like
of people looked at
I
it.
like touching your double pool.
That's weird.
So now it is what
Real
it is.
weird.
So it looks like, were you? I see no optic on here. Was this no optics allowed on your pistols for this one?
Oh no, actually the pistol's pretty much open.
It was open. So by the match program, I'm not going to direct quote it, but it was, there's no designated primary and secondary, and there are no caliber restrictions for either, as long as it's not above 300 Win Mag. So if you both want to run 5.56 gas guns, you can. If you both want to run 308 bolt guns, whatever. No shooter spotter designation, so it was all wide open. And with pistol, minimum caliber 9mm, so that's what everybody, I think we heard legend that one guy there was running a revolver of some sort, and I didn't see him, but that might
I hope it was
have
cross.
Yeah,
it
man.
might have been one of the RNs just telling us
I
a
hope
story.
it was somebody cross drawn. Was it
And
Jerry
shoot-
Mitchell?
And shooting from the hip.
Was Jerry Mitchell?
He wasn't there, but
He shot the entire thing with the pistol.
I would I might do that if I was ever confident enough. I would do that with like a revolver, just a big
Meat cannon,
knocking steel into the wood line every time I hit it.
a 454 pistol.
But yeah, pistol. The only match we've shot this year where you couldn't run pistol optics was
Team Safari.
Team Safari, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Next
but
year.
I've always preferred to run without carry optics, just because I'm so used to running irons.
That's about to change because we got the Pico coming, and he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, I'll run that thing because that thing's fast and it's low, so it changes the way that you treat shooting a red dot for me. So I will be running the crap out of that thing. I actually have a pistol being built for it right now, and I think Cav ran his Glock with a red dot on it, and I mean, I think in terms of shooting, we were pretty much just 1 for 1 through the entire thing.
Yep.
Pistol was not terribly difficult, but it did factor your time a
Yeah.
lot of it. So like, if you didn't clear your pistol fast enough, well, you got a lot less time to shoot your rifles and locate targets. So
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You know, it seems like it was a good match. We definitely, the Guardian crew, we've talked about it a lot. We love. Unfortunately, I haven't made one of the matches that we just this time of year is busy. Is all get out for all of us. But you guys come back singing their praises every time, and we really like being part of it. And you guys actually got a chance to go out and hang out with the Armageddon crew a little bit. Armageddon gear, which we've all got a serious Armageddon problem in the office, and it seems to
Yep.
get worse. How did that trip go? What was that like? Just kind of walking in there. You've known them for a while,
Well-
right, Kev?
Sure. I've been to their shop a couple times, being that I was stationed at Fort Benning for way longer than anybody should be stationed anywhere. But the crew out there, it's not I don't think it's a walk-in shop,
Right.
a storefront.
Right.
But luckily, I know them just well enough that I don't get shot when I walk through the door. And
Way before you get to the door.
we were able to pick through their warehouse of things that weren't already sold and ready to ship, and do some purchasing there directly.
And some of the prototype stuff y'all brought back. The chest rig you brought was.
Yep.
We talked. It's funny you don't think about this until you get into it, but chest rigs is a good chest rig is very very important. Otherwise,
Sure.
we've got a bunch of video from Team Safari where I'm getting up and all my stuff's dumping out. Right.
Yep.
That chest rig that you were running is
Yeah.
what you
I don't-
just say
so-
Gucci.
I don't know what it's called, because as far as I know, I'm the first person to walk out of there with one that bought it. They
Yeah.
probably did some R&D and developed it, but it's not for sale on their website yet.
Hey, what it is for sale, Armageddon.
I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's going to cost, but we've run 6-7 different types of
Yeah.
chest. By chest rig, we mean the bino harness, not like a plate carrier with magazine
Right,
pouches.
I got
It's,
four myself.
I really like it. It's the one I'm going to stick with for sure.
I mean, everything. We'll probably do. We need to do a full video and just
We'll
involve
do a
the
video.
crazy.
It'll be in my Mammoth gear layout because I'm rocking the hell
Coming
out of it.
soon. Mammoth Gear out with
Yes.
Mr. Cavalier.
And then
Maybe Jaime if we can get him in here.
the follow-up video is going to be why I failed Mammoth, and it'll go through all of my non-prep work,
We'll do that. And
destructive diet, and static lifestyle leading up to Mammoth.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked.
Jesus.
Now, I mean, going back to Armageddon Gear real quick, I mean, like, they were very friendly to us. They were wonderful people. They let us kind of rummage through, which has actually turned out to be pretty crucial. I've been in search for, like, bags that fit both, you know, the usefulness of the bag, the type of bag, and
Tell me
things like
bag.
that.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Go there. You almost hit the microphone. This
How
is
do
the
you
one
do
he's
that?
talking about. So this little thing here, they brought it in, and we're all a little jelly. But if you've ever held an Armageddon, I don't know what just happened there. Armageddon Gear bag, they're really heavy. This sucker is light, and it's nice. It's really nice. So what Andy's saying is, you use that as front and rear, and you got everything you need.
So just so if anybody's wondering, this is their mini game changer with sticky pad
Nope.
or pint
That
size.
is the pint-sized
Pint-sized game changer, excuse me.
sticky game changer in waxed canvas.
And
With the what's it called, airfill?
with the Get Light.
Get light.
And this thing it seriously, it does everything now. It acts as my rear bag. It acts as my game changer bag. It does everything and anything I want it to. I've been running this thing for this match, and I got to tell you, I have not taken to a more useful setup.
He was trying to talk
That's a
someone
bag.
else out of there. It's like, I need two of them. Like, no, you don't.
I need two of them.
But yeah, that's the long and short of. We don't want to take up too much more time here. But any closing remarks from either one of you guys?
I always tell people, look, if you haven't shot matches or you're wondering if you should or anything like that, go to the Guardian matches. They are phenomenal. They're all about coaching and teaching and camaraderie and friendship, and then it's all about the kids. So if you go to one of those things, whatever you have or whatever you need to use, the people there will make sure you get taken care of, and they're good people. So the Guardian match is a phenomenal thing. Any of their matches would be great for a first timer to shoot. So those, like, again, I can't say enough nice things about
Get
Gary.
out and shoot. Just
Yeah.
it's a great sport.
Compete.
Cav, anything less?
Yep, we're happy with the Guardian match down there, and we're excited to go to the next one. Luckily, we have the next one here local.
Yeah.
Semi-local to us.
Yeah. Well,
What you-
it's a Texas drive, which means it's
Oh,
less than 12 hours.
It's Texas local, so we're really looking forward to that. And but yeah, the same thing. Get out and shoot.
I'm going to give a shameless plug for that.
Yeah.
It's in Pearsall, Texas. 7 Foxtrot Range is where it's located at. The Guardian will be running that match.
And it's not a team
as-
match, correct? It's
No.
not
So it's really, I'll give a
an
quick
individual match.
10-second overview. Long story short, day 1, single shooters. Day 2, first place gets paired up with last place, second place, and so on and so forth, all the way to the power rankings in the middle.
Me and you can finally shoot together.
Maybe.
And then you run a team, and for the second day, and they do the same course of fire. So it's good mentorship. You learn a lot of things, and like I said, it's all for the kids. So.
That's a great match to guys shoot. It's coming up quickly, so you may not see this before it gets out, but either way, Cav and Lee, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for representing our company so well, again, kicking ass. And like always, look us up, AccuFire Tech, and all the socials. Keep following us. Let us know what you want to see, what questions you have. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks.
And follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. We don't have one of those.
We're the Gram. I don't know technology. Are we looking for the Gram?
It's okay. We'll get you a paper map, buddy.
Instagram. Follow us on the Telegram.